Lyman, thank you for having the courage to put me on a microphone today. And I also want to tell you, I think it's about time that you got some recognition for all the hard work we've all put in over the last 35 years, making you look good. Okay? I do want to commend, the Memphis Music Foundation and also the Brass Note Selection Committee for selecting Lyman for this award. Lyman represents to me all the characteristics you want to see in a civic leader from the standpoint of what he's wanted to do and how he's accomplished things, how he's built a team of people. He's had great ideas. He set the tone for Memphis in May and other things as well. But I really think you've made a great selection, Ken Hall, wherever you are, and commend you for that. Now, I don't want to go too long, but Lyman actually asked me to bring up a few stories, so I'll go back and tell you a little bit about how this thing got started, because I went to the first meeting that was in the basement of the Chamber of Commerce. There were about 10 people there: Tiff Bingham, Gina Arthur, Martha Ellen Maxwell was there, Tom Batchelor, who'd been involved with the one side of getting this thing started. Anyway, I won't name all the names, but anyway, Lyman told us a story about Memphis in May and about the two Memphis in Mays and the fact that we were going to take one and re-energize it. And it totally captured my imagination. And I went home that night and I called Lyman up and said, Lyman, this thing is terrific and I really want to be a part of it. I'd like to be involved with the events. Since I was the second person that had signed up on this thing, he said, well, you're chairman of the events committee. And that was a great place for me because I had so much fun doing that. And you remember Beale Street came in with Irvin Salke throwing in with us. We were going to do our own, but he was doing one and he liked us and he said, I'm coming in with you guys, and he was amazing. The barbecue contest, was something that just made so much sense. We didn't have that till the second year, but it started off with 15 people, and this little lady we were talking about comes up, and I'm kind of acting as a host, and she's got this grill she's bought from a 7-Eleven. And she sits down, she's like the last person there, and she puts this thing together. And it starts cooking late, and so anyway, a little bit before the contest time, I went up and asked her for one of her ribs and ate it, and it was just absolutely amazing, and she ended up winning the contest. To get the $500 reward, which she really needed, she had to give us a recipe. Okay, basically the biggest ingredient was Hyde Park barbecue sauce. Which, if you don't know what that means, that's like Kraft barbecue sauce, okay? And she doctored it up and made it so great. So the original idea I'd had really and got excited about was getting Elvis Presley involved. And so this Memphis in May thing, we'd start filling it in with having a big event with him. Of course, he died the next year, and so we went back to Plan B, which is to fill in the month. Beale Street, barbecue, Sunset Symphony. We had all the river races. There was really something for everybody. I mean, this thing was a whiteboard. We were putting stuff up and coming up with ideas as we were thinking about things, and it was amazing. You could do anything. One thing we wanted to do was close the streets down, and so I went over and met with the guy in charge of that and sat down and said, we'd like to close the streets off for these races. And he looked at me and said, you've lost your mind. You can't close streets down. So anyway, I came back, I called Lyman on it, and Lyman calls Y. Chandler, the then mayor, and says tells him the story about what's happened. That guy calls the guy in charge of shutting the streets down, and we started shutting the streets down. So now it's a common thing. We're all used to that. One thing I just have to say that really impacted me and impacted everybody that was early on, and you had to be there to understand this, and the people that were there really got it. And that it was just an amazing thing that was going on. I mean, the city was going from, almost going bankrupt to all of a sudden we had something that we could all work on, and it was exciting, and we were creating stuff, and we went from a $60,000 budget to a $7 million budget, and people were behind us, and the papers were writing about us. It was an amazing time, and I'll tell you, personally, I feel lucky that I was able to be there and have it happen, because it was almost luck to be at the right place at the right time, and then to be offered this kind of opportunity. And it was just incredible. I mean, everybody that was involved, from George, and the way the racial thing, we came together and worked on this thing together. And in fact, we worked on it really well. George has a grandson, and I have a son in the same class, graduating from high school. Now, I don't know what that means, but they're best friends, and so that's a little unintended consequence, George, when you think about it. Oh, and I couldn't have been more pleased with my experience with Memphis in May, and I know y'all all felt the same way. And I'm just glad to be able to be here. And I'd also want to say that it's great to see Lyman getting this recognition again. Lyman, I just want to say in closing that I just want to congratulate you for this award, and just to thank you for everybody here for starting Memphis in May and giving us what we've ended up with. You've just really appreciate it, and you are to be commended for that. Thank you for that.
Jim Holt, who is now the head of Memphis in May, has a 5:30 meeting, so he's probably going to speak and leave. I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. Jim Holt.
My name is Jim Holt. First, I got to ask Lyman if it's okay. I've got some things to do, so I want to get a tape of your comments, though. Your little party down by the river. I first met Lyman 15 years ago. I've had the privilege, along with the board, of leading the organization that is incredible and is now what was a vision from this man over here has turned into something that is recognized globally and positions our city around the world and across the country. I wasn't here in '77. I moved here in '79, and I remember coming down to the Orpheum to do a concert and thinking, this is a scary place. So you had I'm sure, improved in that 2 or 3 year period. Lyman, we were very grateful, the staff, the board, everybody in the community, and I'm delighted to see you recognized for your contribution. He is a man of great vision and tremendous tenacity. And I can't imagine the obstacles you overcame back in '77 and how you pulled together such a gifted group of people to make this happen. Memphis in May today, as Rodney said, it grew from something that was small to a $7 million operation. We're recognized now. When you travel around the country, around the world, people have heard of Memphis in May. This weekend we have people coming from, I don't know if North Dakota's come in, so it could be 49 states in 17 foreign countries, India, Australia, all around the world. Because of the vision and because of your tenacity and your organization skills, you knew what it can become. I had the opportunity to work with Lyman in 2000 when he again served as president of the festival and we saluted India. So I've had the privilege and the joy of working with him, not only domestically, but working with him overseas. So congratulations. I'm glad to see you get this great honor. So is it okay if
I don't want him to leave because I want you all to know it took us a base to put down from all the people in here that are the founders, co-founders of this organization. But what you really also need to understand is that organizations go up and down, and they get saved, and then other volunteers come in, and then other staffs come in. But this is all about the whole organization. But let me tell you what Diane and Jim, as the CEO, what the end is that we're seeing today is that in December of this year, National Geographic Travel named Memphis one of 12 cities in the world to see in 2013. Did you all know that? We're one of why? But why was it? It was because of Memphis in May, Beale Street, and barbecue. They're telling people all over the world to come to our city. That's because these guys under Jim have created the ability to fund this organization and be recognized for it and to keep this going so that we are promoting our city all over. I thank Jim and his staff for that.
during this program, Cynthia Ham has walked in the room as one of the past directors, not only of executive directors of Memphis and May, but she was really the original marketing person on Beale Street, and we're glad to see her here.